What's up, guys? This is Return to Tennis. I'm your host, Aaron. Thanks for returning. We're going to get out today. We're testing out flexible rackets. This is going to be a two-part series. We got 4 on the schedule for today. I'll go over which ones I'm hitting as I'm hitting. I want to get out there while we can. It's a little windy. It's a little cold, but the sun is out. It's bright. And I want to get an opportunity to start hitting these rackets out, see if a more flexible racket is a little better on my arm. A couple of these are pretty heavy, but their flex ratings are lower than what I've normally been swinging. So let's get out here and take a look. Radical Tour 630. Here we go. So, first up is the Head Radical Tour from 1995. It is the twin tube model, the zebra paint job. This is my first time hitting this racket. I just recently got it. I have the twin tube 107, the 107 square inch, but this is the 98. This is my first time hitting the 98, and it's the first time hitting it with this string. I've never hit this string before. I got a deal on a reel of string through Amazon from a company called Ohms, O-E-H-A-M-S, out of Germany. This is called their Alu Pearl, P-E-A-R-L, rough. It's a spin-oriented poly. It's supposed to be a little softer than Vocal Cyclone, but we'll see. But as I said, first time hitting this frame, first time hitting this string. A little rough with hitting this one today. I need more time with this one to get used to it. Slices felt good. I had some really nice slice backhand shots. Forehands were good sometimes. You're going to see that coming. Oh, right to the tape. Oh, there we go. Launched one. Good start. Just not used to this frame yet. I need some more time with it. I did get a good feel for it, a little bit of a feel for it. I wouldn't say good, a little bit of a feel for it after a while. I think some of the problems I was having with it was just a lack of focus starting out, not keeping my eye on the ball the way I should, and not being conscious of carrying through. I think a lot of these shots I'm brushing up too early, and that's what sends them into the net. But good thing about it being an older frame is it really gives a lot of feedback. Like, if it's not center, it sounds different. It doesn't just feel different, it sounds different. But I'm not getting any vibration in my arm out of it. As we've talked about, these are a bit heavier. They are more flexible. That's what the goal is today. We're hitting flexible frames, but some of these are a bit heavy. This one is coming in at 343 grams. It's strung with the Ohms Alu Pearl rough at 53 pounds. And it has an RA, listed RA of 58. This is the lowest RA racket I've ever hit. Ooh, bad. It was kind of windy out there today. Some of these balls would jump on me and I would totally be out of position to make clean contact. It is a nice feeling racket for sure. I just think I need a little more time hitting this one before I can say for sure. And I could definitely notice the weight. Forehands, not so much, but on backhands, one-handed backhands, I could feel that weight at the end of the racket as I came through. But for me right now, the forehands are the goal. We got to get those cleaned up. There was a good one right in the machine. It's a solid racket, especially when I make good contact. I do enjoy it. I just don't know if it's gonna be, one that I keep in the bag. I just don't know yet. Like I said, I need more time with it. That was a nice one. That's what I've been trying to get. There's so many little mechanical things that I kind of forget about and space out on. Bringing my hips around was one of them. Following through with the ball with the swing is another. I just got to get all these things lined up. When I do, I hit the ball pretty well. That one was late. That one was too much of a brush up. That one was, oh, that was almost it. Right into the tape. I just got to get these things evened out and working in sync. And once we get to that point, we will probably start to see more consistent forehands out of us. Oh, it was rough with this one, I'm not going to lie. Totally new frame, totally new string. First time hitting it. Had real difficulty dialing it in. Gorgeous day out though. Little drop shot action. That worked out just perfect. So we're switching out now, guys. Got another one coming up. That was the Radical Tour. Now switching over to the Astuza Power Beam, 1998.
Power Beam, limited edition.
Boris Becker mold. Not the Boris Becker racket, but the Boris Becker mold. So, deal on this one. 92 square inch head. Very small head, very small sweet spot. 61 RA. Pretty flexible. 343 grams. Heavy. I've been hitting this racket a little bit on the machine, and I actually hit it in drills a couple times now too. Hit or miss. Sometimes I'm feeling really good with it, and it hits really solid. I like backhands with it. Backhands have felt pretty good. Most of the time I feel pretty confident driving backhands with the Astuza. Forehands feel controlled, solid, good plow through when I hit well. Like the head, if you're a little off, the frame lets you know pretty quick, which is easy to do with this one because it's a much smaller sweet spot at 92 square inches. But when you hit it clean, man, does it feel good. It is such a stable feeling racket. My volley game at the net with this racket is phenomenal. I have such good placement and pace and control on the ball when I'm volleying. Extremely stable at the net. Like I said, 343 grams, 92 square inches, 61 RA. This one is strung at 58 pounds with tier 1 strike force rip. Now I know 58 sounds like a lot, but the recommended range on this frame is 55 to 65, so I'm only 3 pounds above minimum recommendation. Look at those, man. Everything I hit with this feels pretty solid. This was actually the last racket I played before I quit playing over 20 years ago. This was the last thing I swung, and I loved it. It just hits so crisp, so clean. Look at that, so effortless to get those balls across. Now, the downside is it does not have a lot of power. I remember being able to really bang serves pretty well with it, but forehands now don't have the same kind of pace as I get out of, say, the more modern frames, like the Wilson Shift or the Dunlop SX300 Tour. I can't hit the same kind of pace, but I can hit a really solid ball with this. It's just the weight is so much on my arm. I started with the heavier rackets first. That way we can work our way down to the lightest frame. I didn't want to get to the heavier rackets at the end and my arm already be kind of tired. That was nice. Very good directional control with this frame. Very easy to target where I want the ball in the court for the most part. Just not very powerful in a very small sweet spot. So look at that. I won't lie, this racket brought back memories when I started swinging it. It felt so nice. This is the first time it's been strung with polyester strings. Was just like a week ago when I got it strung up to retry it. A little low. I feel like I'm hitting this much better than the head Radical Tour. Even though it's a smaller head size, it's a smaller sweet spot, I just feel like I'm hitting this a lot cleaner. and a lot more consistently into the court. Just wish it wasn't so heavy. It is a bit of a bat, but it does feel good. Ooh, not that one though. There's a good, nice one. As I've said, targeting is a lot better with this. I really feel like I can hit to the deuce corner, down the middle, and to the ad corner anytime I want. Whereas with things like the shift or the Dunlop, I seem to struggle hitting to the deuce corner. Middle, okay. Inside out, no problem. But for some reason, hitting the deuce corner side is a little difficult. But with this one, I don't seem to have problems with it. Little drop action. Oh, just short. Can't get the machine to shut off. There it is. Little dropper on the end. So, that's the Astuza Power Beam. Up next, we have the Yonex V-Core Pro HD.
Yonex V-Core Pro HD 2018.
I've played this racket before. It was on my list last year's top 10 rackets I hit in 2022. It is strung with the Terracotta from Witex, which is a little bit of a stiffer string for Witex, but not a bad string. Has kind of a pentagonal shape. It's pretty good. Ground strokes feel pretty solid with this frame. But it's, again, it is a bit hefty. Has a 61 RA, so it's down there in the lower range of the stiffness chart. It's about 339 grams. It's a little lighter than the first two we've hit, but not much. What really held me back from playing this racket more was not its weight, because it's actually fairly comfortable for its weight, was I just could not serve well with it. There's some nice slice too. It hits pretty clean. I struggled on serves. Just struggled on serves. It feels, I had the same issue with the V-Core 95 from 2018, is it just feels slow coming around on serve. Well, good start with the forehands. Well, spoke too soon. Feels solid. Again, I think some of this is my own personal problem with focus. I need to make sure I'm focusing on the ball all the way through the swing. I think sometimes I kind of start looking toward where I'm hitting instead of what I'm hitting. Making sure my feeder's set properly would be a help as well. And making sure I get my hips around in the direction that I'm swinging. Oh, jammed it. That was late. Again, late. That ball got drove real deep. It was a little windy out there. Every once in a while we get a big wind kick up, and it would blow the ball way back toward the baseline on me. There's a couple of good ones. Good hit. Feels solid. Stable. That's always been my biggest problem with the lower weights, is a lack of stability. The V-Core HD, the V-Core Pro HD is plenty stable, and even though it's a bit heavier, it is still a fairly comfortable racket. I don't get any vibration or anything out of it, but I could tell right away how it felt different compared to the first two. The first two were 1995, 1998. This is a 2018. I get a lot more feedback from the older rackets. In terms of, I wouldn't say in terms of vibration, but just in terms of how it comes off the string bed, how the frame reacts. I can hear it sounds different if it's not, on point. This one, it's not as easy to feel. Nice shots there. Actually, at the end, of this after I shut the camera off, actually, before we got prepared the next clip. I did try to hit a couple serves with it, and it still felt like the serves were good. They were in. I mean, they were decent, but it felt sluggish bringing it around. That's what's really kind of holding me back on this one. But ground stroke wise, it's pretty solid. We tried to average around 50 or 60 balls per frame today, so we wouldn't be out there too long. Run a 45-minute video on you guys. Ah, right at the tape. And you see, sometimes I've noticed I have a tendency to do that. If I hit one short into the tape, the next shot I overcompensate, and then I hit it deep. Still trying to find that nice middle ground for these forehands. There we go. Good on spin, good on power, good on comfort. The VCore Pro HD is a solid racket, and it's a beautiful racket, for sure. But again, still pretty heavy, even though it's more flexible. Last one, guys. The Head Speed Pro. This is the 360 graphene edition, the blacked out one. I played, this made my list last year of top 10 rackets for 2022 that I played. It's a solid frame. I mean, I hit it fairly well. I had the same issue with this one that I had, well, I wouldn't say it's the same issue, but I had a similar issue as I did with the Yonex VCore Pro, is a serving issue. Whereas this one feels like it comes around fast enough, it feels like it has no power when I serve with it. It's the head comes around and it feels like there's just no pace on the ball, no matter how well I hit it. It feels like it's lacking in that department. But backhands felt good, one-handed and two-handed. This was probably easily the most comfortable frame of the group. I can tell right now, after hitting it, it's easily the most comfortable. It's sitting at 329 grams, roughly. It's a 63 RA. It is the highest RA rating of the group, but 63 is pretty low compared to what I've been hitting. And it just really felt nice. Spun the ball well. It's the only frame I didn't feel any stress on my arm at any point. The other ones felt pretty good most of the time, but every once in a while I catch a ball on the end of the racket or off center in some way, and I could feel it pull on my arm a little bit. Not this one. This one's lighter, still has fairly good flex. I didn't really feel much here with this. And as a bonus, I hit it pretty well. It was a solid hit for me. Makes me wonder why I can't serve with it. Like I can get them in. I mean, I'm not saying that I can't serve them in. They just have no pop. Nice steady forehand. That was a little into the net. That one is as well. Getting caught late and back. There we go. Little drop action. It's easy. It's just a nice smooth hit. Very nice, very controlled. It is a bigger head size than the other three as well. The Head Radical Tour is a 98, the Asus is a 92, the Yonex is a 97, the Head Speed Pro is a 100. But I feel like watching this right now that this one is probably I hit the best today. Maybe you guys feel differently. I felt this one and the Astuza were the standouts for me today. Just how consistently I was able to keep that ball in and control where I wanted to hit it. But honestly, I kind of feel like the head speed is the winner overall, just because of the comfort I could feel. I could feel a definite difference in the stress on my arm. Now, overall, afterwards, overall, I took the sleeve off, and my arm actually didn't feel too bad. So I might be onto something playing these more flexible frames. Ooh, dead ball. That's a nice rip there. There we go. It's a solid racket. It does sound a little weird coming off the strings. It has kind of a pinging noise to it, even with the dampener, which is kind of annoying, but I mean, not anything that would keep me playing it. You might have to reconsider playing this one. Trying to get a approach. Short, now out. Short again. There we go. Finally got one little net action. But those are our 4 for today, guys. 2 head rackets, a Yonex, and an Astuza. So there you have it, guys. This is part 1 of us hitting the flexible frames. Let me know what you think in the comments. For me, I felt pretty good with the Astuza Power Beam. Felt really solid. Really good feedback from the older frames, like the Head Radical Tour and the Power Beam. I got really good feedback from those frames. Different technology, older stuff. If you're off center the racket, you can feel right away, okay, it doesn't feel, I don't get vibration, but I can feel that it's not hitting the same. So that was kind of nice. But I felt like I did well with the Power Beam, and I felt like I did well with the head speed. The speed by far felt the best for me. It's lighter. It's 328, 329. It has an RA of 63. So it's not as flexible as the other 3, but it is significantly lighter. So maybe that's what I need to start looking at, is a combination of those 2. But maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you think I hit the Yonex better than the others or something. Let me know. Like I said, this is part 1. We have a part 2. We have 4 more rackets that we are going to be swinging to get a kind of a feel for these more flexible frames, including something maybe a lot of you haven't seen in a while. So be sure to check it out, guys. But thanks for tuning in today, and may all your returns be for winners.